Hello and welcome to another video. I'm still in Seoul, but this time I'm heading to the DMZ, the most tense border in the world. We spoke with someone who actually escaped from North Korea. We got a crash course on the war and even went underground into an old invasion tunnel. But just a few hours later, we were back in HONGDAE, surrounded by music, Western food, and way too much beer. And trust me, you want to see how this day ends. Let's get into it. Today, we've just got off a bus and we are at I want to say the DMZ, but we don't think we're actually there yet. We're about to get a coffee and then back onto the bus.
Peace Tourism Centre,
That's where we are. Get back on the bus because we're going to have a Q&A session with someone who's actually came from North Korea. So they've escaped from North Korea and we get to ask them questions. So that's going to be interesting. And after that, we go to the DMZ border and I think we can see into North Korea through like binoculars or something, like I said yesterday. So stay tuned. I'm going to get a coffee and then let's ask some questions to someone from North Korea. Mental. At this point in the trip, we actually got to speak with someone who escaped from North Korea. Her name is Miss Cho, and she lived in a place called Kilju. Kilju is in the Hamgyong province, which is in the northeast of North Korea. Miss Cho actually told us that she escaped from North Korea in December 2009, but didn't arrive in South Korea until July 2010. So that's 7 months it took her to get to South Korea, even though they're bordering each other. So she had to go through China, Myanmar, and Thailand. Bear in mind, if you get caught in China, you get sent straight back to North Korea, so she did well getting that far. When she got to Thailand, she met with a UN refugee organisation that helped to get a provisionary passport to come to South Korea. Her job when she was in North Korea was as a passenger train attendant. However, now that she's in South Korea, she's a lecturer and speaker, raising awareness of the human rights violations still taking place in North Korea today. There's loads more that we found out, but I'll let you hear it straight from Cho.
Do your relatives in North Korea, do they know that you're here, and then do the North Korean government know that you're here, and does that affect their life in North Korea?
The North Korean authorities do know that Cho and her family have defected to South Korea. In South Korea, it's Cho, her mother, and her 2 sisters. She's also got a brother, but when he tried to defect, he got caught in China and sent back to North Korea. He was tortured and beaten for 1.5 years for trying to escape, and is still to this day under close watch.
How is the situation with the border between North Korea and China? It's the same as here with South Korea?
So the border between China and North Korea now is very similar to South Korea. They've got a demilitarized zone, they've got landmines, and they've got guards all the way along the border. They've even got spikes in the riverbeds now because of the amount of people that are trying to escape. Cho said 15 years ago when she escaped, it wasn't like that at all. What are the living conditions like, such as like housing, food availability, and how does it differ from like the big cities to the villages and stuff? Cho explained that 6 out of 10 people in North Korea struggle to get access to food, and that there's a huge gap between the upper classes and the lower classes, with the lower classes not being allowed access to eat meat, just the vegetables that they can grow themselves. Mostly in rural villages, they eat something that resembles a kind of porridge. However, they water it down heavily to make it go further and feed the whole family.
I would like to know what they say to the citizens about the rest of the world.
Unsurprisingly, North Korea doesn't teach its citizens a lot about the outside world. Cho said that the exception was the USA, but they were taught that the USA is a bad country full of ugly people with huge noses. She did, however, say that when she got to South Korea, she was pleasantly surprised and said that Western men tended to be very tall and handsome. At this point, someone asked how Cho gets all the up-to-date information from North Korea, but she says that she goes through brokers. So there's Chinese brokers and North Korean brokers that communicate, and she will go through these brokers in order to find out up-to-date information on North Korea. She also said that she uses these brokers to get money to her family in North Korea. The only thing is, they take a cut. By the time that the money gets to her family in North Korea, 60% of it is already gone.
I would like to know a typical day for women and men in Korea.
그는 56년도에 남녀 평등권을 내놨어요.
The North Korean government insists there is no gender discrimination, but but the truth is starkly different. Men are forced into state jobs, strictly monitored, and have not received a proper wage since the economy collapsed in 2000. Women, by contrast, survive through informal markets, buying and selling food and goods. Their only formal obligation to the state is a weekly criticism session, where communities gather to publicly denounce one another's failings. This limited oversight gives women more mobility and makes escape possible. Today, of the 34,000 North Koreans who have reached South Korea, nearly 25,000 are women and fewer than 9,000 are men.
Is there anything you miss about North Korea?
네, 가정 내놓고
Jo said the only thing she truly misses from North Korea is her friends. In South Korea, she attends alumni meetings with other defectors, where she shares memories and supports one another. But despite this, she still longs for her school friends she left behind, connections that can never fully be replaced outside of North Korea.
I was just wondering if the North Korean people knew about like the nuclear weapons and things like that, and do they have any opinions on it?
북한에서
North Koreans are taught from a very early age that nuclear weapons are the shield against the outside world. Propaganda convinces them that their technology is not only vital, but superior to anything beyond their borders. The most talented students are forced into nuclear science and weapons programs, tasked with advancing their regime's arsenal. For ordinary citizens, these weapons are seen as protection. For the regime, they are tools of power and survival.
Is there anything for people outside of North Korea that you would want them to know? Like, not a question that's been asked already, but is there anything that you want us to know that we might not know about North Korea already?
북한
North Koreans live without basic human rights. There is no freedom of speech, no religion, no choice of work, no freedom to travel, move, or even gather. Every aspect of their life is controlled by the regime. Change will not come from within. It requires outside pressure from the international community to push for human rights to finally improve.
Honestly, I think we paid like £40 each for this tour, but I think even just speaking to her has made it all worth it. Absolutely mental what she's gone through. It seems that a lot of the people, if not all of them, now know about like it's all propaganda, but they just can't do anything about it. It seems like it's like almost like on the verge of breaking point. It's going to end, but who knows? There's going to be so many people in high places that don't want to lose their status or risk what they've got, that I feel like it's almost just that's what's keeping it up at the moment. People not wanting to lose what they've got, not wanting to their family to be imprisoned or anything like that. We were going to ask the question about like, do you have access to outdoor media? But it sounds like they only have an intranet, so majority of people only have access to an intranet and not an internet. So I guess another question could have been like, do you have access to like CDs and DVDs and stuff of like South Korea or like Japanese or whatever kind of media? But never actually got a chance to answer that. But yeah, day goes on and we're exploring more of this mental kind of DMZ, demilitarized zone.
At this point, our guide began to explain how the Korean War actually started, and to be honest, it wasn't quite the dramatic build-up you might expect. South Korea wasn't remotely prepared for the war. It was a normal weekend, and the soldiers on the southern side, according to our guide, were suffering from a fairly serious case of Saturday night fever. So when North Korean troops suddenly stormed across the border early on Sunday morning in June 1950, the South Korean forces were completely caught off guard. Within just 3 days, North Korea had captured the capital city, Seoul. Within 2 months, they'd taken around 90% of the entire country. The only place that managed to hold out was the southern port city of Busan, the last stronghold where the southern Korean soldiers and the few remaining Allied troops regrouped. At that point, the United States decided that they couldn't just sit back and watch. Under the leadership of President Harry Truman, they rallied the United Nations to intervene. 16 different countries sent troops to help defend South Korea. The Americans and the UN were terrified of what was called the domino effect. If North Korea succeeded, communism might continue to spread. First Japan, and then the Philippines, India, and eventually further across Asia. So the war wasn't just about the Korean peninsula, it was about stopping what they feared could become a global chain reaction. What started as a surprise invasion on a quiet Sunday morning quickly turned into one of the defining conflicts of the 20th century. A war that technically never even ended, just paused, waiting for the next chapter.
We also just got to go in this temporary building here and buy real North Korean currency. It's got the Kim Jong-un's grandfather on it, the first ever supreme leader of North Korea, elected by the Soviet Union. Cost us about 12 UK pounds. We bought a 5,000 North Korean won currency, right? And that apparently is a North Korean can live off that for a whole month in North Korea. So that is worth quite a lot to them. It's mad though, it's real currency, and apparently some of it, apparently it's been smuggled through China or something like that. That's what he was saying. But we just spoke to another guy who's on the tour with us, and when he looked online, apparently to get a bit of extra cash, North Korea are selling the currency in bulk to different countries and to different people so they can get a little bit of extra money for the people who live in North Korea. It's absolutely bonkers that they know that because they're so secluded by everyone else that they can sell the currency, people will buy it for a premium. Our tour guy was saying a lot of it is smuggled through China, so we couldn't really record a lot or anything really when we're in there because like it's smuggled through China or something like that. But yeah, I've learned already so much about this place. Next, we actually get to go to the DMZ and look from the observatory and see into North Korea. And then after that, we get to go into a cave, which is like 200 meters or something like that, or further. The North Koreans built during the war to spy on South Korea. Mental, absolutely crazy. Let's go. So we can record this one behind us. That's the old building, but the new building is over there. Can't film that new observatory, so I'm not sure how much of this I can get on camera and give you as much information as I can. But this, I think, is where we get to see the propaganda village. So it's a village that was created by North Korea to make it look like life's repeated over there, but no one lives.
At this point, a South Korean soldier came over and knocked the camera down and said I couldn't film. We were walking towards the observatory where you could see into North Korea. The next time I really film is when we get to Tunnel 3, which is when North Koreans tried to dig a tunnel into South Korea. Let's get into it.
So they've got this big DMZ sign there you can take photos of. And then they've got this here, which I think is meant to symbolise trying to bring Korea back together again. And people pushing it from either side. Don't know if I caught it on camera, but when we were up there in the observatory, I was just filming myself, speaking into the camera, walking into the place, and someone came over and knocked my camera down. It was like, no, you can't film here. So, and as you're walking down the path, it does say up to 3 years imprisonment if you take photos or videos, and like a £15,000 fine. It said 30 million won. You can't take your phone out and take photos of North Korea from the observatory because they're scared that the flash or the reflection off the camera might be mistaken for like a sniper, like the reflection off a gun. That's mental, absolutely mental. I need some more adjectives. Is it an adjective? Verb? I'm so dyslexic, man. Well, I need some more describing words, basically.
Alright, now that we're at Tunnel 3 in the DMZ, let me share some fascinating details. This tunnel stretches about 1.6 kilometers into North Korea, but only about 35 meters into the south. It was uncovered in the late 70s thanks to a North Korean defector who just happened to be a civil engineer. It sits 73 meters underground. There are 3 concrete blockages inside, and the last one sits just 170 meters from the North Korean side. Past that point, it's completely sealed off. North Korea built it for military purposes using dynamite, and the South Koreans turned it into a tourist spot with a German drill, a monorail, and a gift shop. I couldn't get much footage down here because it's still technically a military facility, and cameras are tightly controlled, so you'll just have to take my word for it that walking through feels equal parts eerie and bizarre. A piece of history that's been half frozen in time and half repurposed into a business model.
So it just came out now. I'm just annoyed you can't film too much. I've got like within 100 meters or so of North Korea. You can't actually see a lot. But like the magnitude of going down there, and they've spray painted all the holes where they blew that cave up. The cave, I guess it is, the walkway, the tunnel, with dynamite. And there's hundreds of them, absolutely hundreds of them. And you won't be able to hear it. They play K-pop into North Korea as like South Korean propaganda because it's sort of in retaliation. I think they sent air balloons full of like rubbish and stuff over to South Korea. So in retaliation, South Korea is like playing K-pop to broadcasting K-pop to North Korea. People in North Korea might hear the K-pop, which is mental. Yeah, like I said, I'm really annoyed that I won't be able to record much of it because you're not allowed to record any of the military stuff. I think we're going now to a village which sits within the DMZ. So it's like a functioning village that sits within the DMZ zone. It's called like Unification Village or something like that. But yeah, like I said, sorry I can't film more. But let's see if it is this village next. That little village they said we can go to, they just took you to a shop. You can actually go into the village, just a shop where you can buy like lunch and a souvenir. But I can officially now say that I've been to the DMZ and got the t-shirt, because I bought a t-shirt. It was like £8, and I'm gonna need some more t-shirts this trip anyway, and they look quite cool, so I got a t-shirt. Better just get a t-shirt from like H&M or something, innit? We're in Hongdae now, just roaming the streets. Already a lot more lively than where we were yesterday. Myeongdong. This place is just filled with buskers and street food, and most of all, vintage shops. I think every other shop is a vintage shop. But no, they all seem to be selling the same kind of clothes, like streetwear. But honestly, there's like one every other shop. It's mental. We're just trying to find somewhere to eat. Right, we're trying craft beer. I see pizza, chicken and beer on the side. No, it's not Korean, but nothing really here is Korean. Let's have a go. Let's see if they're going to try and charge us a premium for drinking craft beer and pizza. Anyone's in here. You can see street performers up here. Yeah, Hongdae is definitely full of like young, hip, creative people. But it's also a little bit, for me, it's also a little bit cringy that there's lots of people just sort of dancing on the street. I'm an awkward Englishman, so we're next to like the Seoul's Art University or something. This is like what this place is sort of based around. So there's going to be loads of this shit going on. I'm going to scrun this. And then we'll go down there and I'll show you the breakdancing.
Oh, I'm not seeing it all.
See it off. I don't know if it's because we haven't drunk in a while, but we've had 2 of these beers. We're tipsy, you know. I don't know if they're strong. Or it's just because we're little pussy-holes now and we can't drink. But I want to get out there and see this muse out. I might even get up there myself.
Please do.
Maybe I will. I don't know if that's the beer talking, but I'm enjoying it.
제가 이제 1차부터 요번에 2차까지 컨디션 아니 상금이가 터치를 해주신가봐요.
Yeah, it was decent to be fair. You could see the concentration on their face.
Then sometimes, like, certain people you're watching them just, like, smiling and laughing whilst they're doing it, like, oh.
Yeah, loving it. It's mad, you know. I love that they were loving it, do you know what I mean? Because if I was to do that, I'd feel so awkward. But the fact that they found their passion, they just love doing that, is so cool. I love it. All kind of reminds me of that Australian lady at the Olympics. That's why I know it's not for me, because I can't appreciate it. Well, I can kind of appreciate it, but I can't watch it without feeling a little bit of discomfort. Do you know what I mean? I reckon after a few beers and maybe a few, you know, or something, I could do that. I don't know. I got that bit, you know, got that bit of confidence in me. I reckon I could like.
That's what you think you're doing.
I reckon I could do it. You know what I mean?
It's one of them where, like, in your head, that's what you think you look like. Then you watch about the next day and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Do you reckon that's what they do?
No, because they're not pissed.
I'm not pissed. Let's see what else is going on in the street. You've seen enough dancing.
No pressure, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. No pressure, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure, no. 그리고 진짜 쓰러지면 내게 말해대렴 성장하기 바라고 싶은 게 넘어가든 머리를 높여 놓게 현재 순간을 즐겨 매일의
Fair play to him. All I'm gonna say is, if that was in the UK, they won't be doing it for too long.
And also, like, we're not 18-year-old girls, like...
That is true. What'd be weirder though, is if they're not 18-year-old lads and they're all like 30. That would be very strange.
And what
Obviously
if,
we're not the
I'd
demographic
be
though.
even more baffled if the ones who were going, oh, like, 30.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were, but they were like 18.
Odd. Culture shock, but it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch. It's so different to what's normal back home.
I just felt so bad though, because we were like, not laughing, but like, just quite...
We were in shock.
And then I looked across the pathway and someone was filming in our direction, like up the dancers, but I thought, oh my god, we're in the background for that video.
They're probably thinking, get in. You know what I mean? We're filming it, laughing at it, we're gonna post it. It's just getting more like, more eyes looking at it, isn't it?
I think we were laughing, but I thought we were laughing at it.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would feel bad.
Yeah, this place is definitely livening up a little bit now. I think we might end up getting like one more drink and then seeing what else is going on. Maybe outside of HONGDAE or further into HONGDAE. We'll have a look. Alright, I think we've settled on Dark Flex. Dark Flex. Beer, pizza, darts, beer, darts, snacks, cocktails, beer, darts, Dark Flex. Let's give this a go. Right, we're in a bit of predicament again. We could do like an hour of darts for something like a tenner, something like that. Which is sound, but they're doing a Guinness and it says it's draft Guinness, but I don't see a tap. I think it's going to be a can, and it's like £6.50 for a Guinness. Do you want to pay like £6 for it? That's the same price as at home, that, and if it comes in a can as well.
Does it come in a can?
It's got a can on there, look.
So it says draft.
Draft beer Guinness. I reckon that's definitely in a can. Why has it got a can next to it? I didn't see a tap. Oh, it's a can. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a can. It's a can. It's a can. Yeah, literally half the price for a Budweiser. I'd rather get a bottle of Bud than a can of Guinness, do you know what I mean? Right, should we do that? Next location, I don't know what it's called, might be a chain. We've got some beer, we've got some fried food, some pickled cucumber, some sunflower seeds. This place is cool, man. I think it's made just for drinking.
Put something in drink. You just drank it.
Yum. Oh, can somebody have some kind of chicken wings? They were called chicken sticks on the menu, so I'm glad they're wings. Oh my. They are hot, hot, hot. Ooh, a spicy sweet chili.
Spicy?
They're hot. The chicken's like not dry at all. A little bit pink, so I like them. Really like £3 maybe. That's a clean bone. These are called shrimp with a lot of sauce. Just how I like them.
What is the sauce?
Hard to say. Really creamy, really garlicky.
I've eaten it with the wing.
What does it taste like? That is a lot of sauce actually, they went like it.
It's soft already.
Yeah.
Onions.
Yeah, a little bit oniony. It's like a creamy onion, garlic dip. Really good. Now we're just waiting for that pickled cucumber. Do you know them videos on TikTok? It's like sometimes you gotta eat your whole cucumber. Well, today's that day. I don't know what's on it. I know it's pickled. I know it looks tasty. See sesame seeds on it. It's definitely got some kind of like chili powder or paprika on it. Some sesame seeds.
Maybe with chopsticks I've confusing because it's not really side.
Some kind of like vinaigrette, I want to say, on the bottom. Stick this cucumber back in it. Really refreshing, actually. Kind of wish we got more salty, fatty meats to go with it. So if you're in South Korea, that place that we just went to, I think, was called Pico, but I don't know here because everything's always like stacked up on top of each other. But it's this place here. So if you can read Korean, this place, great for some beers or some sake and some little bar snacks like wings or like fried shrimp or chips or whatever. Look there, highball, beer, sake, great food, loads of locals there, so that means it must be good and cheap. Really, really good. I rate it. I've had a few beers, but that's the kind of place you go once you've had a few beers. So I'm gonna say it's perfect. You and your mates with some like chicken wings, bar snacks, beers, all that came to like 10 quid. Do you know what I mean? We got 3 pieces of food, some little nut thing, no, seeds and 2 beers. Defo worth it.
Why does it smell like ass?
8 or 9 out of 10. Too much, I wish we had more things to dip in that sauce. That's the only reason it didn't get a higher score. We're heading back now to our hostel, and then tomorrow I think we're heading to Busan. Maybe. We haven't really booked anything yet. We haven't booked our train, we haven't booked our hotel.
We'll have a look.
We haven't booked anything, so this could potentially be our last day in Seoul, and if that is the case, then this is goodbye. Abs, it's this way. So thanks for watching. Again, I don't even know if anyone is watching these videos because I haven't made any of them yet. I'm just filming loads and loads of content. I don't know if I should be saying that, but that's what's happening. But thanks for watching if you have watched, and tune back in for the Busan video. Busan is our last stop in Seoul. We might potentially stop somewhere before Busan. That's our last stop before we go to Japan. So definitely check that one out as well once it's out. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out, A-Town.